are here with Steve Emmons. Thanks so much for joining us. Steve just finished a season with the NPL, National Pickleball League, Senior Pro, and you are from Martinsburg, West Virginia.
That is correct. And thanks for having me here, guys. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for coming up.
Yep.
So I know that you came from a table tennis background and had a lot of accolades there. Love to hear about what you accomplished in that sport,
Sure.
even before coming over to pickleball.
So I was a young kid athlete like everybody else that played, baseball and basketball and Little League and all that kind of stuff. And when I was around, I don't know, maybe 13 or so, my parents got a ping pong table in the basement, and we all played in the neighborhood. And it was all good. And they went and we signed up for a rec tournament at Hedgesville Middle School when I was around 14, I think. And I went there and there was some actual table tennis players there, not just the doink doink, ping pong players.
Not just a basement.
Right.
Exactly. That had the right paddles and
Okay.
sort of played the style that looks more like what you see on the videos now, right? And I'm like, that's pretty cool, So, and I happen to know one went to my church, so I had sort of a personal contact there, and I got hooked in with his group and got some equipment and started playing tournaments down in Baltimore. And from there, I just became crazy about it, So I played 7 days a week.
Jeez.
And practiced most of those. I was able to get trained by some high-level coaches.
Awesome.
The following summer, I got to live at the Olympic Training Center in Lake Placid.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, for about a month. And I was
How
coached
old
by...
were you then?
I was 15.
Oh, wow.
And I was coached by a former Chinese national player. and I couldn't get enough of it. It was this little sport that I was never super fast or anything like that, but I've always been kind of quick. So one step fast. And with table tennis, that's one step's pretty good. That's about all you need. And so I went on the following summer. I ended up winning a national AAU junior Olympic title in St. Louis for singles under 18. And did all that, sort of quit when I was in college just because I was doing other fun things. And picked it up again for a couple years in my 20s, but pretty much, we got married, career and all that kind of stuff happened. And I started playing again when I was around 40. Once Noah got a little bit older and started doing other things. And I won 8 West Virginia state championships. Most of them were in my 40s when I did.
That's amazing.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, so it was it's fun. It's a cool sport. And I never in a million years ever thought I would stop playing table tennis because I played a little bit. I did golf, did some ultra distance running. I've always done stuff. Skied some, but table tennis I was pretty good at. Right?
It had your heart too.
Yeah, exactly. And I just really really liked it. And I didn't plan on stopping until COVID hit, and it totally, I was still going to tournaments down in the DC area, and that just totally shut down during COVID.
Okay.
It was indoors, an Asian community, and that just all stopped. So I kept getting a phone call from one of my high school buddies, right? And he kept saying, we're playing pickleball. And I'm like, I'd never seen it before.
Dumbest name.
Terrible name.
Terrible name.
And the other thing was, I was like, I've definitely heard it for old guys. I think I still feel kind of young, right? And I'm pretty good at what at table tennis. So I'm like, I think I'm good. And then he called me again. I'm like, yeah, I'm okay. I had zero interest in this thing. And finally, one day he called me. I was like, listen, we need a fourth. And I had nothing to do. And he lives 10 minutes from me. I haven't seen him in a while, so I'm like, I'll come over, drink a beer, and play this stupid game you're talking about. And it's in his driveway, right?
Perfect.
So I go out there, and it's they're all laughing, having fun, and music's up, and they're drinking beers. I'm like, well, this could be worse, right?
Worst things to do, for sure.
Exactly, on a Sunday afternoon. And I'm telling you, I hit about, I bet you I didn't hit 10 shots, and they said, let's play a game. I'm like, all right. And I'm hitting every ball like right into the pavement because the table tennis, the angles are totally different. I'm holding it like a ping pong paddle, and it's like, so I'm making little adjustments and do that. And I don't know, we played for probably 2 hours, and I'm looking around. I don't know if I lost any games or not. And these guys have been playing for all summer, and I'm like, I'm not sure, but I think I might be better than all of them.
Wow.
Right.
Because it's like, I didn't know. I thought they were good when I walked in. I didn't know what their level was or anything like that. But so I thought maybe this is something. I don't know. But it is fun. It's definitely fun. I didn't have ideas about strategy or how to hold the paddle or anything. I went home and looked at some YouTube videos when I was done, but I kept rolling back there. Every Wednesday or whatever when they were playing. I played a little bit. And finally, they said, "We're going to go to the rec center." they're big time players at the rec center, right? And so, did you ever play in Raymer in that gym in downtown Martinsburg?
No, what's the one that
Randy Smith.
Randy Smith, because
Okay.
that's the first time
Okay.
I think that is the first time I met you.
Okay.
Was the Randy
At
Smith tournament.
Yep. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah, because me and my partner were beating everybody, and then everyone was like, "Hey, when you play this guy Steve and his son Noah, like you're in trouble." And I was like, I was so excited because I was like, okay, we're beating everyone local we could beat.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, so finally we get to play someone who maybe isn't going to beat us or who will beat us, and you guys creamed us.
I remember it fondly.
And yeah, annihilated us. Like I was like, okay, this is like I got a lot to learn.
Yeah. But I went into this. It was a little rec center in downtown Martinsburg, and there were some players that I could kind of hang with them, and they were, looking back, I'm guessing they were probably a lot like 3.0, 3.5 is my guess. But then I came back like the next time, and this guy walked in, and they're like, "Oh, this guy can play," and I'm like, "All right," and he's just knocking the heck out of the ball. Mm-hmm. He's got shots. I don't know what he's doing, but he's up. He gets to the kitchen line every time, and he's smoking shots. And he said, "That's Kevin Walker."
Okay.
Okay, and they're like, Fulton Walker is his father, was his father, who was an NFL athlete, right? And I'm like, what he's doing, that's what I want to do. Like, that looks like fun. Mm-hmm. Like, this is fun. What he's doing looks, that's the kind of thing. Like, I can see he's serious about it. And so, yeah, I kind of somehow through some luck and some friends, I got in with that good group pretty quickly. I didn't really start taking it up seriously till about 6 months later because I did play one more state championships in table tennis, so I was kind of doing both. And when I won that last state championship, I kind of thought, I think I'm going to give this a shot. I'm going to give it a whirl, right? Because I've been the same level table tennis player since I was 16. I mean, I was pretty high level, but it was the same. I'm like, I think I can get better at this. So it's going to be a challenge,
right?
Right?
No, for sure.
That next May, it would have been May of 2021. I started playing some bigger. I played my second tournament, and went after it. I've been going after it ever since, pretty much.
Because I started really playing with you guys then, probably 22.
22, I think. Yeah. That's when you and Noah played.
Yeah,
some
when Noah and
together.
I, we played a few tournaments together, and I would come down and play with you guys before I took the break. And that was amazing because I was driving everywhere to try to find high level play. Absolutely. I mean, I would drive up to York, PA from Frederick to Hanover. Like it was just like, and then when I was trying to find the high level play, it was like if you were 3.5 or above, you were considered advanced.
Yep.
Like it was like 3.5 was, it was hard to find that level of play.
The thing is, John, a 3.5 player is better than most.
Right.
It really is. I mean, like a 3.5,
Mm-hmm.
I get why they say that.
Yep.
I mean, a 3.5 is not a 5.0, but compared
they can
to
play the game.
If you walk into a rec center, the 3.5s are studs.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's for sure. Yeah.
So that was a lot of fun when we started playing down there.
For sure.
Definitely, it was nice to get in with groups who were taking it more seriously.
Yeah.
Because I was always like the young guy that everyone made fun of. Because they were like, "Oh, you're young and you're taking this seriously. It's called pickleball, and we're hitting a plastic ball." And I was like, "Yeah, I mean, like I get it. Like when you put it that way, it sounds really bad. Like it actually sounds pretty stupid.
I'm with you, man.
I completely understand that this is dumb, but I really enjoy doing it. And so it was nice to start to get in with more people who were taking it more seriously, who were thinking of strategy.
Oh, yeah.
Who, you know, it wasn't
treating it
just,
like a real sport.
right. Yeah. Actually like bringing in a lot of different aspects.
Yeah.
And had different sporting backgrounds too. That was what was fun too, is like, you know, now all of a sudden we're playing with tennis players, we're playing with ping pong players, we're playing with baseball players.
Is such a good transfer.
Yeah.
A handful of hockey players. Yeah, hockey's a good one too. But that's one of the cool things about pickleball in general is we can have us competitive folks. But I can tell you, 73-year-old Betty, who is probably never going to be at 2.5, absolutely can love it as much as we can.
Yeah.
And it gets Betty out of the house with her friends. Her heart rate's going. Her doctor's happy with her.
Like,
She's
no
happy
downside.
socially.
There's no downside.
Well, even like at the local courts down here, I mean, you have all different levels, and then you have more of like an advanced rec area, you know, like the advanced rec. I mean, it's not like super high level, but it's advanced, but we can all intermingle with everybody else. Like where everybody's talking, everyone's socializing, everyone's having a good time. It just depends on what you want to do with it. And I mean, even
it's definitely different than any other sport I've been involved in.
I've never seen a phenomenon like this from any sport, from my background or my background as a mom that my kids have done.
That's why we're doing a podcast.
It brings so many people together.
I mean,
exactly.
because it's so it's so strange. I mean, like cycling, like the higher you get in cycling, the more competitive it gets. It's miserable. Like it's miserable. I mean, like it was like I mean, when I would go out riding, like I had like a few friends, but the rest of it was just grind fest. So it'd be like these days of just 25, 30, 40, 50 miles with people you didn't even really like. Or, people that you dealt with them. Like it was just, the running. Like I still love to run. But, I like to run because it was a solo sport. So it was just me time. But it was hard. I mean, it was different to transfer over to pickleball then and have more of like a team aspect. Because I couldn't find people to play singles against whenever I started.
I'll play anytime you want.
But I know. Yeah.
I love singles too. We go at it in singles.
He absolutely destroyed me last time. It was miserable. And I will play you again, and I will win. One of these days I will win.
I know. I know you will.
I'm
sure that. I don't doubt that a bit.
No, and it was funny too, because like Mom bugged me I think she started bugging me to play in like 2015.
Wow. Okay.
I didn't
been playing that long.
Yeah.
Or maybe 2014. It was a very long time. I mean, it was a long time ago. She was like, "Hey, I'm playing this game called pickleball. You would really enjoy it." And I was like, "That sounds really dumb, and I don't want to do it." And she was like, "I'm telling you, it's a lot of fun." And I was like, "I do not play an old person sport." I said, "I'm out running."
Because she's an athlete. She's from a sports background.
Oh no! Mom is
no doubt about it. There's no doubt.
Yeah, my mom. I mean, it's racquetball for 20-some years, tennis. Softball, basketball. I mean, she played basketball at a college level. Absolute athlete. Yeah. So when she picked it up, I mean, she just kept bugging me and bugging me and bugging me. And I had never played a racket sport. Yeah. I had never, I would go out and like hit a tennis ball. Yeah. But nothing, it was like soccer, baseball, and then those sports that I could do solo, cycling, running. Yeah. And so she was finally like, okay, get out and just hit a ball with me one time. Mm-hmm. And I was like, fine, I'll go play this stupid game called pickleball. And then
I went out
with the wiffle ball, and we went out, and I hit a ball, and I was like, okay, this is fun. I was like, I really like this. I was like, I don't want to like it. Like, I want to not do this. And then I came back to work. I was like, hey, everybody needs to play pickleball. And they were like, that sounds really stupid. I was like, please, just like, I'm telling you, like, I understand. Yeah. And so that would have been like, I think 2019 was when I would play once a week. I would drive from Frederick to Greencastle and then carpool from Greencastle to Chambersburg to play for 2 hours because we could not find. I couldn't find anywhere to play. Frederick had age bracketed it to 50 plus in the city. Yeah. So I couldn't play in the city. That's ridiculous. And Frederick's a huge tennis community. Yeah. So nobody wanted to
give up the courts.
Up the courts or hit a plastic wiffle ball.
Right.
I was telling everybody, I said, this is the next big thing. I was like, I'm telling you, this is the next big thing. I was contacting the city, telling them that. So now it's kind of funny to watch it explode.
Proliferate.
Yeah, I'm just like, oh man, if people would have listened to me then,
you knew.
Yeah, I knew then because it was just so much fun, and it was so cool to see all these different athletic backgrounds come into it. And
I still, I've been playing very, very regularly for a solid 4 years now. And I still get excited every time I pull in the parking lot.
Oh, yeah.
I'm ready to go. It's freaking fun. You know? It's
What
good.
do you love about it so much? I mean, you come from a background with a sport that you loved then and decided to put that aside and focus on pickleball. How come?
I'll tell you what I like a lot about it is, well, I mean, personally for me, it's a sport that it suits most of my athletic prowess, which at 55 there's not a whole lot left. But
I think you're severely underselling yourself. Severely underselling yourself.
Like I said, I have a quick first step, right? That's about all you need in pickleball too. I have to cover one step here and one step here, right? And I've got quick reactions.
You have the fastest
Do
hand.
do the quick hands that you have in pickleball come directly from your table tennis background, or did you have to develop that in pickleball?
That's a good question. So when I first started playing, everybody's like, you've got amazing hands, okay? So when you're up the line and you're, say, 6 inches back off the line and your opponent's 6 inches back off the line, so you're looking at about 15 feet apart with a ball this big. I'm used to 9 feet with a ball this big. Then it gets hit way harder.
Okay.
So, I mean,
It's like a beach ball to you?
it's like it is. I mean, now
We need to go train a table tennis
Apparently,
for our off-court
Right,
training.
off-court
table
training.
tennis is so hard compared to pickleball. It really is. Like that's why so it didn't help really with anything else. Maybe a little bit of court vision and shot selection. Maybe no,
The
it's
angles.
completely different shots, angles, things like that. Anticipation, picking up patterns, that kind of stuff, all kind of transfers over. But yeah, the main physical part is
That first
his
step
hands.
in the hands.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
What about the community of people that you play with and against? How is that different from table tennis versus pickleball?
Okay, so in table tennis, like a normal tournament, maybe 100 players, and I was usually in the 20% where English was my first language, right?
Okay.
So, and no problems there. I made tons of friends, but the social aspect is completely different. And I can tell you, the thought of going and drinking a beer with someone who just beat me in table tennis never would have happened. I'm usually going down to Baltimore. Everyone's cheering against me.
Against you?
Yeah. I was always the outside guy. I'm the guy
The
from
West
West Virginia.
Virginia
Yeah,
guy.
which I'm kind of that way in pickleball too, right? When I tell people on a national stage I'm from West Virginia, like, do they play pickleball there? We do. We do. But yeah, the social aspect of this is just, it's really great. And I'm not like a particularly outgoing person. I'm more of an introvert. So that was definitely a change. I think the biggest change was tapping paddles after the first game. I'm like, the match isn't even over. Why in the heck are we? I don't even like looking at people, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So that was like kind of like, oh, hey. And I'm like, what the heck is this?
Mom made a point of it. She was like, after you win or lose, you have to tap paddles. I was like, I really dislike. This is
that
even
did
worse.
not feel right?
Yeah, I was like, this is horrible.
Yeah.
Like it's a dumb name, and now I've got to tap paddles with someone that I just
In the
got
middle
beat.
of a match?
Right. Like
What? Who would do
It's so
that?
friendly. Or even throughout the match, like in tennis, which is my background.
Yeah.
You don't go through the match saying nice shot all
Oh,
the
I
time
know.
to your opponent. No, not at all. But in pickleball, if you're not like that, then you're seen as the outsider.
Yeah. I mean,
It's
even
such a
sometimes
friendly
in tournaments,
sport.
I'll have people that are just super complimentary. And that,
Yeah.
I really don't.
That's
I mean, I
unusual.
will, a couple times a tournament, give them a thumbs up or something like that. But usually, I just don't. I'm usually, I'm smiling on the inside, but during a tournament, I'm pretty,
Oh yeah.
kind
Right.
of
Actually
look on my
dialed
face.
and
Yeah,
locked in,
exactly.
Yep.
So it's still kind of against my nature to tell somebody who just burnt me on the shot that's a good shot.
Right.
Right.
I'm usually like, okay, how can I not let them do that again?
Right,
That's what I'm
yeah.
thinking about,
But I found that it's much more likely to happen in pickleball than in a sport like tennis. That
Yeah.
camaraderie, even against your cutthroat opponent.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, I
that
don't know
nice
how many times
shot.
we've all sat around, the medal winners all sit around, have a couple drinks after a tournament. It's unbelievable. It's great. I love it.
Right. It definitely creates those connections.
And the other thing is you might be partnered with them next time.
Yep.
That's the way tournaments are. You make friends. I mean, you find people you're playing against. Like, holy cow, that's a great game. You either steal their shots or you try to steal them.
Right.
Right.
Oh yeah. I know that feeling.
There you
I
go.
pick her up as a mixed doubles partner, and then everyone's like, "Wait a second, she can hit a ball." I was like, "No." I was like, no.
I'm the one that refined your
There's a
game.
lot of-
I've refined her
rules,
game like nobody's allowed to touch her. That's so.
Or what we have found is, you mentioned that you might become partners in another tournament, but what we have found is we'll play against a team in a tournament, and then we go and play high-level rec play with them.
Oh, yeah.
So then there are friends that
Yep.
we're training with.
Yep.
Which
That
is
has
a-
been really fun.
it's
Like
been
a
amazing.
new thing that we've been doing is actually like hitting people up after the tournament, setting up play with them, and then meeting their local crews of
Yeah,
rec players,
Yeah,
which has been,
traveling to go play with them.
And it's so key in a sport that's still, figuring out its way. There's so many different styles that work up
Right.
to a certain level usually. And it's so important to find those different groups. And even, if they're a little better, a little worse, it doesn't really matter too
Exactly.
much.
Yeah.
Make friends, learn different styles because particularly, I know the aspirations you guys have, you playing open and you playing senior pro or whatever. You got to be able to play a lot of different styles,
Right.
to play at those levels.
Yeah, we love our home group, and it's high level,
Yep.
amazing people and amazing players. However, if I hit this shot, I know that he knows I'm going to hit this shot. If I put him over there, I know he's going over here.
Yes,
and you
absolutely.
can't go into a match with that level of predictability.
You walk into
So
a tournament, sometimes you walk into a tournament like, I'm playing terrible. No, you just don't know.
Right.
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 And that's so important
Yeah, it is.
to play against the different styles and have to think
Absolutely.
on the spot.
Yep.
I have
agree.
no idea how they play. They have no idea how you play.
Yeah.
And it keeps you as a student of the game too.
It does. It does indeed.
So I'm glad you brought style up because I wanted to touch on this. So, and I started playing like everybody hounded me that I hit the ball too hard. You hit the ball too hard. All you do is drive it. And I understand that there's a soft portion of the game that you have to have, which I'm working every day to develop and work on it more and more and more. But how have you seen styles change and the game change in just your time? Because you've gone from like just picking it up to now playing in the NPL.
Yeah.
Which is a huge jump.
Yeah.
And a lot of, again, like you said, the game is still,
Yeah.
It's
people are still
evolving.
Oh, it's
evolving
evolving like
every
crazy.
day. Like they're developing their own style, skill set.
Yep.
You have got tennis players coming over now who are, because when I started playing, the rule of thumb was if it was over your shoulder to just let it go because it was going out.
Yeah.
And now you play a tennis player, like
They
it
put the
doesn't
right
matter.
spin on the ball. It's over
Yeah,
your
if they
shoulder
top
and
spin
drops
on
Right.
in.
I mean, it could be above your head and it's not even a lob, but it's still
Right.
going into the back of the court.
Yep.
So
I think probably the biggest changes, which has been in equipment, right? So with the mods, the Yola mods and the gearboxes, and this last year particularly, you can just do more things with those paddles. So when I played in NPL, I played against a lot of those paddles. Personal opinion is I've been hearing things that they are definitely going to be geared back a little bit.
Okay.
And I really hope that's the case because that they definitely lead to faster play. And I'm fine. People can hit the ball as hard as they want against me. That doesn't bother me at all. But I think like situations where you've got in a rec center where you've got a 20-some-year-old athletic kid buying a Yola mod
Right.
and playing against someone
Betty.
who's trying to Betty, our good friend Betty.
Who's eating every ball now
That's
because
gonna
it's
be that
flying
first-
off the paddle.
It's just no fun.
For either of them.
Yeah, exactly. But I get there's going to be improvements in equipment. I totally get that. But yeah, there's absolutely a lot of players playing with the drive first, drop second mentality, which in my teaching I've changed a little bit of that too. I'm totally fine with drive first, drop second, but still at the level. So I'm talking, my duper's like 5'4" right now. I'm talking maybe that level and above. You absolutely have to have a soft game.
Right.
And I don't care. The guys who hit it the hardest, they all can reset and they all can dig. I mean, if you look at even Quang Dong, right? You know who he is, pro, right? He literally rips everything. I mean, to me, it's funny. I play pretty soft game. But I like watching him. He's two-hand ripping every ball. It's like third drive, fifth drive, seventh drive, ninth drive from his ankles. But then, if you really watch him a lot, he resets and dinks a fair amount too.
Yeah.
At an extremely high level. So it's very, very important to have that all-around game, because the problem is, particularly if you're coming in, say you're an athlete, so like you come in at 3.5. We'll say like you're an athletic person, can pick it up pretty quick. 6 months in, you're a 3.5 player. And your focus is flat out just driving the ball. I agree that you should work on those superpowers. If your superpower is your drive, freaking keep working on it. But what if you meet another person at your level who can return that?
Right.
Then you lost your weapon.
Yeah.
You need multiple shots in your arsenal.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think that, and when strategy, the farther you go up, a lot more strategy kicks in and patterns and things like that. And you've just got to be able to get away. If you're serving, you got to be able to get from the baseline to the kitchen. And most people can't drive their way up there against a 5-0.
Right.
They can drive one, they can drive two, but at some point they're probably going to have to drop one. And if you can't do that, you're going to be exposed. And so I think, I hope the paddles get calmed down a little bit. But yeah, the game is absolutely speeding up. It's getting more athletic. Tennis players have a huge advantage right out the gate. But if they don't fill in those cracks.
Right. So that's what I was going to ask. So just because they're coming over from tennis, because I heard, some people were talking that like, oh, if you're a tennis player, you can just come in, you can pick it up, and like you're immediately good. Which I'm not saying that they're not.
Right.
They have like a huge advantage. I had no racket sport background, so like I was trying to figure that out.
It really is. It is a huge advantage.
Yeah,
I agree.
But they still have cracks in the armor that they have to fill in. Then
the good thing for their advantage is they've got such racket skills that they can pick up the other things pretty easily. Right. But yeah, from when I first started playing to now, it is a different game. I mean, I wouldn't have ever thought I'd be playing against guys that were 5-0 that primarily drove just about everything. And but the good thing is I can still put the ball on the ground. I put it on the ground. They got a dink, and if they got a dink, I've got a shot at them.
Yeah.
Which type of shot does table tennis translate most to in pickleball? Your soft game, or?
No, the soft game, the dink is the whole thing with pickleball, it is kind of different, right? Because you play everything kind of out in front of you, unless besides driving. Like driving's more like tennis.
Right.
You play a little bit deeper on you. But everything else is kind of out here. So that really wasn't a table tennis shot. So really,
you had to learn that.
Yeah, a backhand roll. Okay, like a backhand flick or roll. That's a table tennis shot.
That's great.
Yeah, that's a table tennis shot. And just being able to block things, like when people attack, like when they attack first and I block hard, that reaction type shot's a table tennis shot. I sent somebody a video of me playing ping pong the other day who I've known for a while, and he was like, "Oh my God, you play pickleball just like you play table tennis. Like your movements and stuff are the same."
Right.
But yeah.
Not a bad thing. So you are seeing a lot more of the third shot drive as opposed to third shot drops.
Yeah, I think, and like I say, I've done a 180 on that, because I told everybody, you definitely have to learn a drop. I don't really think that's the case anymore. I think you can drive every third, but if you don't have a fifth drop, you've got to. To me, the importance of the third is a little less. The importance of the fifth is a lot more.
Right.
So you've got to be able to, hit that drive or drop or whatever you do, and then play that next one. If they can put it back at your feet, you can't keep driving your way up.
Right.
So I think learning that fifth shot is, to me, the most important one. Yeah.
What do you see coming down the pike? These are huge developments and changes in the game now. Do you see anything coming down the pike in the future?
I think a lot of it depends on what they do with the paddles. I really do, because if this thing keeps on going like it is, it's not going to be what we play today. People are just going to be ripping shots everywhere, and it's going to become a lot younger sport quickly. As far as like rules and things like that, I think they'll probably mess around with that rally scoring. I think rally scoring is probably going to happen, because that's, MLP
Well,
is
for
great.
TV, especially,
And
it
you
keeps
can
it
time
moving.
things.
It fits into the time slot.
I think, games to 11 straight instead of 1 by 2, I think that's a possibility that could maybe change, just to keep its timing. besides that, I don't want to mess with it too much. It's too good.
Yeah.
It really is. I don't think it needs a whole lot of changes,
So do you see, okay, so table tennis versus ping pong, right? You have two separate names.
Yeah.
So do you see maybe pickleball becoming like maybe two separate, like they
Like
rename,
recreational and more professional?
like recreational is called
It's
pickleball.
very different, isn't it?
Right?
I mean, yeah, that I've never.
It's such a great
seen that.
question.
Yeah, that is. That's because
Smart.
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah, because ping pong. You think of the guys in the basement. Table
Right.
tennis is played in the Olympics.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely right. Yeah, you don't turn on the Olympics and go, oh, it's ping pong.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
it's so
Exactly.
that's what I was I was thinking
If
through
you
the other
watch
night.
like Christian Alshon play, that's nothing that looks like a rec center play.
Mm-hmm.
So that if they would actually give it an actual sport name at that level, I'd be cool with that. I could live with the end of the name pickleball.
Well,
at
yeah,
that
and then,
level,
and then maybe it just, and then pickleball is more the recreational,
Yeah.
the fun.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, not that
No,
what we're all
that's
trying
what
to do
most
isn't
people
fun,
are, yeah.
but like
The
because
set of rules can change.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
the
a little
expectations
bit,
for the
a little
level.
bit. PPA has some different rules. MLP has some different rules. So I could see that happen for sure.
If it happens, that this podcast had it first.
That's right. That's right.
We called
You heard it
we
here.
called it. The Picklebox called it recording episode 4. We were right out the gate.
There you go.
Yeah, because I definitely, I've noticed a huge difference in, I'm not playing at a pro level, but just like going to travel and playing with more, even playing with some pros.
Yeah.
Like the game is just completely different than what I was used to or what, what I was taught to play out the gate. Because like even out the gate, it was more like one of my first places I played a lot was at a country club. So it still had like a very like tennis style.
Yes.
Like it was like, if you drove it at someone's chest, they were like,
was frowned
no,
upon.
we don't do that. Like, we shouldn't do that. Like, that's not fair. That's not polite. Like,
Yeah, I'm with you.
and so, and immediately I was like, this is,
Yeah.
because I've always told people like, your game needs to have all the shots in your arsenal. But if somebody can't handle the drive and you're putting it at the bullseye and they're popping it up every time, there's no reason to not hit 2 shots and be done.
Right. You want to win
First
the
one,
point.
yeah, like hit it, pop it up, you go up and crush it, you're done.
Yep.
Save your energy, move on, keep going. So that's been interesting too, just seeing how like some of those individuals who at first it was like everything has to be soft. It's like we're just out like having fun, not just having fun, but this is like that was the atmosphere.
That's true pickleball.
Right, that was
right.
Because you'll hear people say like, "This is real pickleball. This is fake, or not fake, but like this is real. This is not."
You're an intruder on our court. I've experienced that too. Like coming from a D1 college tennis background, all day, every day, hitting a power baseline game, and then learning pickleball, having those evil eyes looking at me at the park with more experienced pickleball players, but I'm beating them. Maybe not playing their type of pickleball, but it's working.
What still gives me hope is like if you watch the finals of a PPA tournament, right? It's like, you've got all these guys that are ripping shots and maybe the points are getting a little bit shorter, but it seems like at 8-8, all of a sudden everybody starts playing
The soft game.
Yeah, you go to a
they
safety
do.
game.
Well, yeah, because the thing is, the other thing with these paddles, the first attack gets absolutely chewed up a lot of times. Like whoever attacks that counterattack is the killer with these new paddles.
Right.
So everybody becomes a little bit more conservative. So I still think that's probably
That's what kind of keeps it. Yeah. Well, even like if we're playing tournaments together and we're at like an 8-8, I'll say safety serve.
Yeah.
Like I'm like from this point on, like everything's conservative.
Right.
Like
you don't try and paint the lines.
Right. We're done painting. We're done. Like
there's a time and place for everything as part of the strategy. The soft game, the hard game, or where to place it.
It's still a lot about errors, right?
Right.
I mean, it really is. I watched a senior pro match at the Virginia Beach PPA. There's a couple of my friends playing against another couple guys that I'd met before. And the first game, me and my partner were watching because we were going to play the winner. And I think out of the first 11 points, 10 of them were won on errors, not winners.
So that still remains the case.
Yeah, I think it does,
So force the errors.
So were the forced errors, were those more strategic shot, like a slower shot, or were they getting some
going
of those
for
off
too
drives
much,
too, though?
going for too much, going for lines, going for the
That
baseline,
patience.
hitting the ball in the net. Yeah, it's your regular freaking unforced. I wouldn't say they were totally unforced errors, but they were, for the most part, unforced errors.
Yeah.
Right.
You got to keep it between the lines. One more shot, man. You got to. Yeah.
So you're teaching now too.
I am.
Okay. So do you see you're in the NPL? You're teaching. What comes next? You're gonna keep teaching. You're gonna. I mean, is there any like longevity goals for pickleball for you that you've thought of? Or
that's a good question. So I'm kind of making this up as I go along.
aren't we all?
Yeah, I really
Yeah.
am. Here was my idea was I've been playing for a couple years and I'd gotten to, close to that 5-0 level. And I was, 3 or 4 years from retirement, right? So I thought I might want to do a little side gig. And I had a friend, Eric White, who works for Yola, who we were talking about something. And he's like, you need to go get certified. He goes, we'll do clinics together. And I'm like, I don't
Certified as an instructor.
Certified as an instructor, right. And I'm like, I don't know. And then I'm thinking, well, maybe when I retire, that might be something that maybe I want to do. And I coached Little League and helped my brother coach a little basketball team. So I kind of enjoyed the coaching.
Right.
And I thought, I won't have to deal with parents, right? The parents are the ones that are playing now, so it's okay. So I just went ahead and signed up for the PPR certification. And since Dad has a court, that's kind of a perfect, spot to do it. And I started coaching a little bit, and I'm like, I really like this. Like I'm telling you, I enjoy coaching just about as much as I enjoy playing.
It's amazing.
I mean, some days are better than others, but sort of my sweet spot is those guys that are 3.5, 4.0, athletic, and can get to that 4.5 level.
Right.
And I think I'm pretty good at getting guys from 3.5 to make that next step or two up. And those are the folks I really like to work on, because for one thing, most of these guys, it's a lot of these, 50 to 60-year-old guys who are really good at some other sport or still are, that are pretty fit.
Their legs still work.
Just legs still work, knees are still good.
Just a few braces.
Yeah, a couple. And man, the passion they have of trying to like just like us, this thing fell in our laps, and it's like, man, I think I can actually be better at this than I am.
Right.
And,
we all drink that pickleball Kool-Aid.
Yeah, exactly. And I just love coaching them. I like coaching partners together.
Okay.
I like doing a group of 4 buddies who are all kind of the same level. And the thing is, pickleball is, to me, it's pretty simple, a lot of it. There's just a few basic things that can really help people who don't really want to take the time to look into it themselves, or they see stuff at the rec center and they're like, oh, that's a good shot. Well, yeah, it might be a good shot, but you might miss it 6 out of 10 times.
Right, that's
that.
what I tell all my students is you'll hear at a rec center great shot because the person can't get to it, or I'm like, you can't hit that shot 9 out of 10 times. It's a lucky shot. It's a lucky shot. Honestly,
it might be spectacular.
Right, that was a great shot, but you probably shouldn't have gone for that.
Right, or at a 3.0, 3.5 level, hitting that line and pushing it way outside the post. At the level that any of us here are playing, everyone's looking for the ATP.
Yep.
Right.
Exactly.
I learned that the hard way. Coming from tennis, I love that little spinny shot, and then I got to a higher level group. I was like, oh.
Maybe not.
That no longer works here.
No.
That doesn't function.
Go with the inside foot. Yeah. So I don't plan on quitting coaching anytime soon. I'm retiring in a couple years and might do it a little bit more at that point.
Expand your coaching.
Yeah, maybe a little bit. Awesome. We'll see what works out.
Thank you so much for being on.
Absolutely.
Thank
it was
you,
a pleasure.
Steve.
Yeah, thank you for being such a. Locally, you're obviously a phenomenal guy, but all of us look up to you, and it's really, we're all very honored to be able to have you on the court and play with you, and you've improved so many people's games.
Yeah, you're so impactful.
Yeah.
As a player and a person. So thank you.
Thank you all very much, and best of luck to everything you're doing. This is great, and I only see good things in your all's future.
Thank you.
You.
Appreciate
Very
it.
good.